There's a moment in combat sports history where myth blurs into reality, where legends whisper about the one man they didn't want to meet under the bright lights. And in that rare space sits Bob Sapp, a fighter so explosive, so massive, and so unpredictable that even the greats hesitated when his name came up. Before his career turned into a spectacle, before the rumors and strange losses, before Hollywood roles and viral memes, Bob Sapp was a force of nature, a hurricane in human form, a nightmare that walked into rings across the world and left destruction behind him. When people talk about fear in the fight game, they always circle back to this monstrous figure, who once carved through giants and champions with terrifying ease. That all began in 2002, the year Sapp stormed into kickboxing like a freight train with no brakes. He called himself the Beast, and anyone who stood across from him understood immediately why. One of his earliest challenges came in the form of Ernesto Hoost, the Dutch icon known as Mr. Perfect, a man who had built his name on dismantling heavy hitters with surgical precision. But when he stepped into the ring with Sapp, the dynamic flipped instantly. From the opening bell, Sapp tore across the canvas like a berserker unleashed, throwing thunderous blows with no fear and no respect for Hoost's technical mastery. The ring echoed with the sound of raw power meeting elite skill, and yet somehow it was Hoost who looked overwhelmed. Every punch from Sapp felt like a shockwave, and when he finally broke through, he didn't just win, he left Hoost's face swollen and battered, turning the legend into a living cautionary tale. That win became the spark that ignited Sapp's rise. In the months that followed, he charged into every fight like a bull let loose in a crowded arena. Kimo Leopoldo became another victim in this violent streak. At first, Kimo tried to use movement to survive, running from the Beast in a desperate game of cat and mouse. But Sapp's punches were too fast, too heavy, too unforgiving. Kimo had his moments, even rocked Sapp once, but the sheer size and fury of the American eventually overwhelmed him. When the bell rang, Sapp stormed forward again, battering Leopoldo with a brutal combination that sent him collapsing like a broken tree. Even Mike Tyson, sitting in the audience, watched in stunned disbelief. That night, Sapp didn't just win a fight, he announced himself to the entire world. From there, Sapp's rampage continued like a natural disaster, ripping through the kickboxing landscape. Opponents didn't walk into the ring with him, they walked into a storm. His next battle came against the enormous Japanese fighter Akebono, a man whose size alone was something out of a comic book. Their encounter looked less like a professional fight and more like two monsters clashing in an ancient arena. Akebono tried to crush Sapp with sheer mass, hammering his midsection with devastating force, but Sapp's resilience carried him through. And once he found his rhythm, the tables turned violently. His punches cracked through Akebono's guard with explosive impact, eventually sending the giant to the canvas with a blow that resembled a final brushstroke on a masterpiece of brutality. Sapp fought like an avalanche. Every time he walked to the ring, the crowd buzzed with equal parts excitement and dread, because no one knew what was about to unfold. One moment of hesitation against him meant obliteration. In another memorable fight, Sapp faced the Russian powerhouse Alan Karav, a man known for his grappling strength and toughness forged through harsh Soviet upbringing. But Karav lasted only moments before Sapp's fury swallowed him whole. The Beast charged. The punches landed like sledgehammers, and the Russian found himself smashed between unstoppable force and unmovable will. Sapp fought with the intensity of a comic book villain, a living Hulk crashing through opponents who never fully understood what they were up against until it was too late. His migration across continents eventually took him to Nigeria, where he faced Bobby Olagun, a charismatic fighter known more for entertainment than danger. Olagun used speed and agility to keep distance, sprinting around the ring like he was trying to escape a predator. But predators eventually catch what they chase. Sapp cornered him, dragged him down, and hammered his head into the canvas with terrifying power until the referee intervened before real damage could be done. Every opponent learned the same lesson. When Bob Sapp wanted to finish a fight, there was no safe corner of the ring. But like every monster in mythology, Sapp's aura couldn't stay invincible forever. The whispers began. Rumors swirled about staged fights, quick taps, strange losses. Suddenly, the indestructible Beast looked vulnerable. Whether it was money, wear and tear, or simply time, something changed. In one infamous match, Sapp stepped in against a smaller, older opponent, the kind of fighter he once would have crushed in minutes, and the unthinkable happened. Sapp crumbled again and again, falling to the canvas with almost no resistance. Fans were stunned. The legend of the Beast seemed to evaporate in real time. The same man who once terrified legends was now being tossed aside with ease, and the crowd didn't know what to make of it. The fall was swift. One moment, he was a monster that even seasoned champions feared. The next, he was a spectacle fans watched with confusion instead of awe. Yet, through all of it, Sapp found a new path. Hollywood called, and suddenly the Beast became a global personality, starring in movies, commercials, and television. His enormous presence, once used to dominate rings, became entertainment gold. He transformed himself from a terror in combat to a charismatic icon recognizable far beyond martial arts. Bob Sapp's career became the story of a man who soared to terrifying heights, crumbled dramatically, and still walked away a cultural legend. Not the best fighter, not the most technical, but undeniably unforgettable. A man who once struck fear into even the hardest warriors, whose roar shook arenas, and whose presence became larger than the sport itself. Thanks for watching this breakdown of one of combat sport's most fascinating figures. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which fighter's story you want to see next.